Hey y'all, so I've tried to make this a couple times, so let's hope this one's a little better. So I'm making this real fast because people have been asking me, if you've been following me on Instagram and social media, you know that I went to hike Guadalupe Peak yesterday. So for those who don't know and aren't from Texas, I'm supposing you clicked on this because the title and you want to know more about Guadalupe Peak, besides all the people who make it glorious or just horrible on the internet. So Guadalupe Peak is the highest peak in Texas in the Guadalupe Mountains, right outside of El Paso, about an hour and a half. Finally was able to get a car yesterday, left really early. I got out, it was a quick drive. You just turn out from the airport. I think I turned left from the rental car area, turned left onto Montana. It turns into like 82, 62, 80, 62, something like that. Basically, you just take it all the way down for like 80, 90 miles, I don't know. So you just take it out of town all the way down. And you literally just keep going straight. Once you start to hit the mountains and really start to see them, you start losing service. And so there's a lot of not really rest stops on the side, but almost picnic areas. People can pitch tents, whatever. So I'm stopping at them. I'm taking photos of everything. I'm taking photos of the Guadalupe sign. You know, I'm just so excited. I'm like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna climb Texas today. So I missed the turn in. I have to turn into one of the little rest area thingies so then I can get back on the highway because I'm not doing a big old loop around that. This park is massive. So I go in, I park, I check in. You got to make sure you get a day pass to hike. If you're wanting to camp out there or backpack through, get there early because they only let so many a day in the different parts and they fill up quickly. So I get in there, I pay the money, I get myself a little magnet that says National Park. I'm like, I'm gonna earn this magnet. I'm like, I'll give it to my mom. She collects that stuff, put it on the fridge. And so the guy was like, oh, you're gonna do some day hiking. Where are you gonna go? I was like, we're gonna attempt the peak. We'll see. And he's like, oh, you can do it. You got a lot of water? I'm like, yes, sir. I got tons of water, more water than I need. And he was like, you'll be fine. So he's like, you want a map? And I was like, I'll take one. I hear the trail's pretty easy to read. It's a worn path. But I was like, I'll take one anyway. So I go back to my car, put the little sticker in there to show that I'm there for the day. Then I go back up towards the front so that way I can use the bathroom. Because I'm like, let me go to the bathroom now so I don't have to try to go on this mountain. So then I start walking towards where the RV and the campsites are to get to the trailhead. So I'm taking photos, I'm taking video. I'm just drawing this out because I'm gonna hike the peak. I think I even stopped and was set my tripod and camera up and I'm like, we're gonna do it, mama, pray for me. Just being silly. So I get on the trail and I'm like, I'm ready. We're gonna hike the peak. So I start going. The first part was a little rough. It wasn't I think it was more mentally than physically. It wasn't like your legs are just burning or whatever. And so for those who don't know, it's the first 1.5. Most people say is the hardest. They're lying to you. I mean, it's more mentally hard because you start to realize, oh my gosh, I'm hiking Texas. I'm going to the top. I'm hiking Texas because you keep looking down and I suggest don't look down. And you just, especially if you're scared of heights, but I'm not scared of heights, but you see the crap, you see the cars and all that and you're just like, I've gone how far? So then you start hitting switchbacks. That was hard for me just because I kept trying to drink water because I'm I have a hard time if I'm exercising or doing it like that, drinking a ton of water. I just feel heavy, bloated, terrible. So I'm trying to make sure I'm drinking tons of water. And so what was hard for me is they have these almost tree stumps that have been shaved down and worn over time that are bolted into the ground. So you're having to step up on them. So for me being so short, my legs are so short, I'm literally having to bend every knee and then step on it. So people who had hiking sticks, it was a little easier for them. But these people who were taller or bigger, it was just, and I'm just ugh. Those were terrible when you start hitting. So once I get past the switchbacks, I'm all right, I'm good. I'm making friends on the trail. I'm taking photos. Y'all, I'm talking about, I'm stopping, setting up my tripod and my camera. I'm dancing on the mountain. We hiking Texas. We hiking, I'm just having a blast. I mean, I was a little tired, but I'm having a blast. So I keep going and I start making friends. I meet these ladies and we stop and talk and we're walking. I'm like, we're going to pep talk ourselves up the mountain. We got this. Jesus got us, girls. And we're going. Then I make friends with this boy, Brendan, who I think I posted about him on Instagram. We're going, he climbs up on this one rock because we're trying to see how much further we have, where we're going to go. And at this point, we've hiked for quite a bit, but we don't really know. So we keep going a little ways and we finally pass one of the signs that are riders dismount and walk. And we're like, you're on the side of a cliff. Who's hiking? So then I purposely didn't want to look at a GPS, any of that kind of stuff. Because I'm I don't want to know. I know how I am mentally. So one of the girls pulls out her phone and looks because she had the GPS thing on and she wants to see. And she was like, we've gone 2.5 miles or so. We were getting close to 3, I think. So I look at my watch and I'm like, I've done this in almost 2.5 hours. I am so proud and impressed with myself because they say the average person takes 4 to 5 hours. Some people longer. If you're really good at hiking and hike a lot elevations, you're quicker. And I'm keep in mind, I'm carrying my camera, putting it down, taking full video. And so I'm just yeah, I did this in 2. So at this point I'm thinking, I can do this in 3 hours, like 3, maybe 3.5. And so I'm like, I start booking it or whatever, because I'm like, because I think it was like 12:24 when I looked at my clock, and I had got on the trail at 10. And so I'm like, oh, I got this. And I had already stopped a bunch to take like full on video. And like, I mean, and at that point I had clipped my water to my side, so I didn't have to stop to keep taking it out of my backpack. Like, and so I'm taking sips as I'm walking, like, cause I had like a Nalgene bottle, but I had a carabiner on it. It's my same one that, it's really old, that I've had for years. And so I had it hooked on the side of my bag. And so I'm like, oh, we got this. So we're going and going. So then I started to get a little tired. Like, you get to the shaded area kind of. And I think I sat down. That's when I started to get really tired. So I think I sat down for, it might not have been 20 minutes, maybe 10, 15, maybe 20. And I pulled out a power bar. I love power bars. So I'm eating a power bar, drinking some water. I pass different people. People start to pass me at this point. Some other people are using the shade to like eat some fruit, eat whatever. Some people have already started giving up, like to come back. I'm like, y'all are already done. They're like, no, we quit. And at this point, I'm thinking I'm real close. And I'm like, oh, we did. So I'm like, I got this. But I'm starting to get tired. And I'm like, okay, time to pep talk myself again. So then I'm just like, I have not hit the bridge. When we hit the bridge, I'm almost there. Like, I have not hit the bridge. I'm getting upset now that I haven't hit the bridge. So I finally get to the bridge, probably like 20 minutes or so later. And at this point, I'm still thinking I can do it in like 3.5 hours. So y'all, I'm losing it. I had my gorilla pod. So those who don't know, they have legs that like move and wrap around. So I wrap it around like hanging off the cliff, not my brightest idea, but I'm so excited. I'm dancing. I'm like, I'm at the cliff. I'm at the cliff. I'm hiking Texas. Look at this view. Like, y'all, I'm standing here doing this and like a plumb fool. I was just so excited. My mama would be ashamed. A plumb fool, y'all. So I get to the bridge and I'm like, I'm good. So then when you get past the bridges, when you just don't get any shade anymore, and you start to lose, it's not really losing the trail, but it's just rocks. And they make, so we're going, at this point I'm getting real tired. And I'm just like, oh, I'm ready to be done now. So I think I stopped quite a bit at that part because that part was hard. I think the hardest part was you're trying not to fall on these. And then it was hard for me because I'm literally holding and everybody kept saying, oh, but you're going to get great shots. And I'm like, but I wasn't my brightest did. I have this heavy camera in this. So I'm like holding it in my left hand and trying to make the tripod stay onto it. And then I've got my backpack on my water right here. And then I'm like leaned on the mountain this way, like practically having to crawl up it. So we're going, so then I meet some people. Like, I think I passed a girl, she's sitting down with her friends. She ended up passing me again, like they were on a break, and she's angry at this point. She's, I don't know why that y'all talk me into this. It's stupid, just stupid. Why are we hiking a mountain? Whose idea was this to hike a mountain? Like, she's just yelling, she's mad. And I'm like, and so I hit a part where I meet a father and son, and we're both like, we start to struggle a little. Their kids just running up this mountain. I'm like, to be 10 again. And so we're like, what the heck is going on? Like, are we gonna get there? What is going on? Oh my goodness. And so that's when we realized that like there's switchbacks. Like I met lots of people on the trail, but I met some people earlier. They were like boyfriend, girlfriend, engaged, married, I don't know, they were young, from El Paso. And so they were coming back down, and I had seen them earlier. And he was like, go on this side. It's kind of off the trail. I almost fell trying to do that too. But he was like, go on this side. It'll be a little easier. So then we're like, where's the trail? Like so then me and the dad and the son realized there's more switchbacks. And I'm like, Lord Jesus, you kidding me? More I thought we was done with those switchbacks. Them things is rough. But I will say this last part was the hardest. Literally trying to climb those. Oh, it was terrible. So we get there and I'm just like, I feel like I can't go anymore. Like, I thought we were almost there because people are like, you're almost there. You got it, girl. You're almost there. This is the hardest part. This is the hard part. So then this guy comes by me and he goes, you're almost there, girl. Only about an hour left. I mentally lost it. I would say what? Little Texas boy, I would say what? Lost it. Mentally lost it, y'all. I was like, I checked out after that. And I was just like, I don't care anymore. Like, I'm gonna get there when I get there. Like, I'm done. I probably stopped like 6 or 7 times for like 2-3 minutes each time, just sitting, gulping water, just like, I'm done. Like, are you serious? Like, and I was just like, and you would look up at the mountain and you'd be like, I feel like I'm almost there. You're so close, but so, and like, that just like, I didn't want to know how far, like that just mentally drained me. I was just like, an hour. So then finally I just keep going, but I'm stopping and people are like, don't give up now. And I'm like, girl, I'm not giving up. So then I meet the girl coming back down, the one that was like, this is so stupid. I don't know why y'all talk me into a mountain. Never let y'all talk me into a dang mountain again. Like, she's crazy, she's mad. And she was like, girl, I felt like you at that point. You can do it. Don't give up. I'm like, girl, I'm standing on top of Texas in my Namaste in Texas, y'all shirt. Like, ain't nobody giving up or whatever. So then I think at that point I just sat down and I was just like, I'm done. Like, I will get up when I feel ready to get up. Like, an hour, like I'm two through. And I had hiked for a little bit after he told me an hour. So finally I see this lady, she's with her family and they're coming up. And so she was like, you're almost there. I was like, if one more person tell me I'm almost there. She was like, no girl, stand up. You're almost there. And I look and I see the AA, the big triangle, the famous photo. And I'm just like, I am. So I just leave my backpack there. And I'm like practically crawling up there. And I'm just like, I hiked Texas. I'm dancing on the mountain. I'm taking photos. I'm taking videos. I'm like, top of Texas. Namaste in Texas. Y'all, plump fool. Plump fool. I sat on that mountain for like 2 hours. So I'm making friends with people. We're talking about Jesus and Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump and President Obama and the babies and the tacos and the southern states and you name it. We were having life come to Jesus moments on top of this mountain with all the people that I was encountering because I'm making friends with anybody. And so after about like, so I drink some water, whatever. After about 2 hours, there's this one father and son. He was like, we should probably start heading down. It's almost 5 or whatever. And when I was coming up, keep in mind, I thought I would do it in like 3.5. That last part probably took me an hour and a half because like I got so like physically too, but just mentally I just checked out and I was just like, and so I'm like, yeah, we should probably start to head back down. So I'm like, they're like, we're gonna go ahead, and I'm like, catch up to you, probably won't, I'm slow. But I'm like, I want a few more video, but there were still people up there, still people coming down, so it wasn't like I was by myself. And so I'm like, I wanna take a little more video, make sure people know I'm on top of this mountain, and a few photos. So then that's when I eat the beef jerky. And it all went downhill from there. So I started eating the beef jerky, and I'm chewing it and trying to walk, and then I realized this beef jerky don't taste right. I bought it at some little shop here downtown that the stuff was already looking, I shouldn't have ate the beef jerky. And so I think couple that with probably my body was slightly dehydrated, even though I felt like I physically couldn't drink any more water. I had drank so much dang water. But you know, even when you feel like you're supposed to keep drinking or whatever. And so coupled with that, so I'm just like, I'm dreading coming down these mountains because again, I'm holding my camera. I'm like leaned and I'm like, and so there are people in front of me, like they're kind of ahead. So I stop a little and letting people go in front of me because I'm like, I'm slow. But I'm just like, I can feel this jerky sitting on me. This doesn't feel right. And so what took me probably an hour and a half to get up from that bridge to like where all the Rocky Mountains where it's really hard, I get it in like 30 minutes. I'm like, oh, I got this. I'm getting down, getting to my car, gonna post some videos, gonna tell everybody I climbed Texas. Keep in mind, I don't know that my friends are freaking out and people were like, where the heck is she? And so I think I hit the bridge coming down and I was just like, this is rough. This is physically, like it wasn't even mentally rough anymore. I was like, this is rough. I was like, I started willing my body to throw up. I was like, if you just throw up the beef jerky, I'm pretty sure it's bad. Like, just throw it up, you'll be okay. And I'm like chugging water. I'm like, just throw the beef jerky up, just throw it up. So I think I got a little past that bridge back to the shaded area and I sat down. And I was just like, I got a jacket. I got enough food and water. I could sleep on this mountain. Like, if my body's not going to throw up, I don't want to climb down. I could sleep here. I'm just like, it's beautiful. It feels good. I could sleep on the mountain. There's some little spots where you can pitch some tents. I'm like, I could sleep. I don't have a tent, but I'm like, I could sleep on this mountain. And then I was like, we should get up. You are not sleeping on the mountain. People going to spot, like, get your little behind up. You are not, your little Texas behind is not sleeping on this mountain. So I'm like, girl, keep going. So I'm going, but I'm going really slow at this point. Or whatever. I mean, I came down quicker than I came up, but I'm like, I'm going slow. And I'm just like, this is physically rough. Like, I just need, if I just throw up, I will feel so much better. So I'm going and I hit the point where you start hitting the switchbacks. And at this point, I'm like, okay, I only have about 1.5 miles, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. I don't really know. And so it starts to get slightly darker. And I'm just like, oh, I got to keep moving. And I think for me, like, that was the hardest part too, is for me, mentally, but like physically, I'm one of those people, just keep going. Just like when I started trying to run in college, I wasn't fast, but I was like, if I just keep going and don't stop, just keep going. And so constantly stopping to let people go past me because I'm so slow and they're trying to run down the mountain or they're just faster than me and like they're getting frustrated. Like, that was the hardest part, like, because then you lose your momentum. Or like a few times I fell, and I don't want to say like fell down the mountain, but like you kind of lose your balance a little, so then I would sit so I wouldn't fall or anything, and then I'm like, okay, so then I just sit there for a minute, and I'm like, and then that just meant like all of it. So I started hitting the switchbacks, and at this point I'm like, if I could just throw up, like, this is rough, like, this is, my stomach's starting to hurt, like, this is rough. So I'm going, but I'm going really slow. So then I pull out my phone to get my flashlight because it starts to get really dark, and at this point I'm kind of by myself. And I think at a point I sat down for a good minute, like I laid down on the mountain for probably like 15, 20, I was like, I could literally just lay here. Like, I'm not going anywhere. Like, if my body's not going to throw up, like, I lay down again. Like, this time I laid down for like 10, 15 minutes. I was just like, So then I was like, get your little dramatic butt up. You have hiked longer than this. Never up a mountain, but you've hiked, like, get your dramatic butt up. Like, stop, like, get up. And then I started hearing like hiking poles, and I realized that I'm not as far behind all the people who were in front of me as I think. So then I got like a fresh wind. I'm like, I'm doing better than I thought. Good job, Lalisha. Or whatever. I mean, I'm still physically feeling like, ugh, but I'm like, I'm doing way better than I thought. Like, I look down and I can see them. I mean, they're probably like 2 switchbacks ahead of me, but I'm like, it's not as bad as I thought. And the sun is just slightly starting to go down, but I have my light out anyway, so I don't trip. So I'm going, and I'm contemplating cheating and like sliding down some of the parts, but I'm like, it'll cause erosion, can't do that, girl. So I'm going, and I'm going, and I'm going. I'm going slow though, whatever. And I'm just like wheeling myself to throw up. I'm like, this is just terrible at this point. Like I'm not enjoying the process anymore. It's not fun anymore on the last little bit. I'm just like, if I could just throw up this beef jerky. So I get to a part where like, it started to get really dark, and there were still people coming up, and I'm like, y'all crazy, because they didn't have backpacks. I'm like, are you? Some people were going up to camp for the night, but I'm like, not in this starting to get dark. So then it starts to get real dark. Not too bad, but like I hit a point where like I can start to see like over the Ridge Canyon thing, I guess, and I can start to see the cars and all of that. And so then I'm just like, yes. I think going down was the hardest too, because going up, you're like, you're gonna get there no matter how long it takes. You're gonna get to the top. It takes. Getting down, I was like, I just want to pee. I want to throw up this beef jerky. I want to get in my car and go back to El Paso. Like, I'm like, it was fun, but let's be done. And so that was the hardest part, because I was just like, oh, you feel like you're never gonna get there, or whatever. And so when I start to see the light coming through as the sun's going down, I'm just like, yes. So I'm going, and I'm going slow though. And then it was hard because where I told you they had the indentions, like the worn wood that they had bolted in, like it was even worse going down than coming up, because I felt like I was literally like, it was such a larger step for me because my legs are so short, because I'm so little. I'm like 5'2", 5'3", and I have small feet. And so I'm like pounding as I'm going down, and it's like pounding on my toes inside of my shoes or whatever. And I'm like, thank God these shoes got good grips, these Columbia shoes. And so I hit a point where like, I guess you see the signs, and at this point I'm just like, I'm done. And I couldn't see the signs because it was getting dark, where you know which way to go up the trail. I'm like, I have to pee so bad now, like, sorry mountain, I gotta pee. And there's a little indention, a small wooded area, because there's not much woods up on the mountain. And so I just pop a squat. I'm like, I'm sorry Texas, I'm sorry Nashville, like I just gotta pee or whatever. And so then that's when I throw up, and literally just beef jerky. And then I'm like feeling like I'm still like, but I'm feeling so much better. I'm like, got this beef jerky out of my system. Let's go, let's go. And I'm just like, I'm ready to be done. And then a guy starts coming up with his headlamp on, red. I don't even know how he could see from that, because I could barely see. Almost ran into him, and I was like, sir, can you tell me how far I'm from bottom? He was like, you got like 5 minutes, girl. And I was just like, really? Really? My body revolts on me with 5 minutes left. I was so mad. Like, God, I was so mad. So finally, like, it probably took me 10 though, but it really was like, and when I hit one of the points where I could see the light, and like, I didn't know at this point, and then I'm like, I gotta pee, that I'm less than a mile, like that I'm that close. I couldn't tell. And so I get down, so I'm just standing there, and I'm like, I hot Texas, namaste in Texas, y'all. Like literally, I was doing all that. I'm plump full, y'all, plump full, or whatever. And I was doing it as people were walking by, like I didn't even care. And so then I'm walking through the RV, and at this point my feet are really hurting, and I'm just like, oh, let's get back to the car. So I'm walking through the RV section, so then I get through the campground sites, and I can't find the little trail to come through where I came up from the visitor, like where you check in. And I'm like, I don't want to have to walk around. It's not a main road, but it's like a main road through the national park. And I'm like, I do not want to have to walk on this. So this lady starts backing up in her van with all these girls in the car. She almost hits me. Like, I moved out of the way, but she screams her windows down, and she's like, I'm so sorry, she's afraid. I'm like, no, it's okay. I moved out of the way. Like, you just didn't see me. It's getting dark. Even though I got a big light next to me, this big old flash of bright light on my phone or whatever, and it's purple. And so she was like, where are you going? Are you lost? And I was like, I'm trying to find a little trailway to get back up to the front. And so she was like, I'm here with my Girl Scouts. I'm taking them up to the front because I hear the surf's up there, so they can call their parents and let them know that we made it. You want to ride? And at this point, I'm like, I don't even care about stranger danger. You say Girl Scouts, girl. We good. Girl Scouts, we good. Take me back up to my car so I don't got to walk the like 4th of a mile, girl. We good. We solid. Stranger danger, don't matter. So I hop in the front seat, and I'm like, thank you, ma'am. So she was like, are you just now coming down the mountain? And it was like 7:50 something. And I'm like, yeah. And she was like, you weren't scared? It's dark now. Like, it's starting to get real dark now. And I was like, no, there were tons of people still coming down and coming up. There were a few behind me, some way in front of me that just made it down a little bit before me. And I was like, no. So she takes me to my car. At this point, I still don't know. My friends are flipping out. So I plug my phone in, turn it off at airplane mode, because I would check every now and then. I'm at no service. And so I get a little bit of service, and my mother is immediately calling me. And she's like, where are you at, girl? You still on the little trail thing? You were going to that park? It's getting dark. Don't tell me you were out there by yourself. on the trails, on the whatever you were. And I was like, no, mama, there were people back and forth. And she was like, all right, well, get your little butt in the car and get back to El Paso. And she was like, but Sherry called me. And she was like, freaking out because she need to talk to you about Julie. I was like, oh Lord, that's code for something. And she's like, and she's flipping out because she can't get a hold of you and mad because I didn't know the number to the place Airbnb you're staying. Call that girl. So I call her. She starts going off because it's mostly my fault because I said I was going to check in, like give them my location, but I couldn't. But also, so when I got there, I texted my friend and was like, can't give you a location, but I'm here safely. And then I put the phone on airplane mode and it didn't register till after airplane mode, but I kept it on airplane most of the time, that it didn't actually ever send. So then I texted in like, and it looked like from my end, when I got on the mountain, I'm like, on top of the mountain, I'm gonna come down now, because I started, like, I turned off airplane mode, and I would get a few texts coming in on the mountain. So I'm like, no, still climbing down. I didn't realize they weren't actually going through, and it's my fault for not paying enough attention. And so they're flipping out, like I'm talking about y'all. They were like trying to get a hold of park services, the Texas Rangers, like thinking I got kidnapped. Like since this morning, they were trying to call the service because they were looking at my Instagram, like, this is what she was wearing. Do we see a flashlight? And they're like, I'm glad I have friends who are supportive and love me and like care for me, but oh my goodness, y'all, like, I'm serious. Like, contacted Airbnb to have a wellness check on the apartment, like, insane. And so I'm driving back, like, text messages are just flooding through it, and I'm like, I can't have a look at them and I can't drive. So I get back to the apartment and I'm reading them all and I'm just like, mind blown. Like, y'all were that freaked out. Like, I told you I was gonna, like, I was serious. I was gonna go to the mountain. Yeah, so make sure people know where you are and that they know that the trail is really long and it's going to take you quite a few hours. So people keep asking me, would I do it again? Yes and no. If I had to do it all over again, I would, to say I did it, because who doesn't want to climb, like this Texan, who doesn't want to climb the top? I wouldn't eat that beef jerky again, and I would drink way more water. Even though I felt like I couldn't drink any more water, I would drink more. I would say you don't need as much as you think in your pack. Like, yes, the jacket, because it kind of gets cool, but like then you just start getting hot, so it doesn't matter. But like, when you think you have enough water, bring more and drink it. Make yourself drink it. I would drink more water. I wouldn't eat the beef jerky again. I would just eat like another power bar or some granola or something, because I had plenty of other stuff. Why I picked the rotten beef jerky, I don't know. I didn't know it was rotten until I started eating it. But if somebody asked me to go on the mountain or something like that, no. Like, so that's what I mean. Like, if I had to do it all over again, I would, to say I did it and physically put my body through that, and just to see if I could do it instead, because there were so many people who gave up. And my friend was like, people train for that. That's why you were getting sick as you were coming down. And I was like, not really. It's hard to train for that. Even if you do, unless you're hiking mountains, like even with hiking all the time, it's hard to train for something like that. You just don't know what to expect. You don't know what your body's going to do when you're out there or whatever. And so like, I don't know that I would do it again just because once is enough. Like, people on the mountain, they were like, we're done. Once is enough, whatever. But yeah, that was my experience. If you have any questions, leave them below. I'll try to answer them because people have been asking me. I'll try to. I'm going to try to put together a blog post, and I have a video that I filmed while I was up there, so I'll post that. But like, if you have any questions, because people were asking me, where'd you get your pants from? What kind of backpack did you use? Did you really need that much? Like, I've had a lot of questions on Instagram, and like, so if you have any questions about it, I'll be as honest as possible. I'm not going to be like those people who are like, it was so terrible. It was so great. Like, most people aren't going to tell you that they got sick on the mountain coming all the way down. Like, you got sick at the end. I did. I'll be honest. I did, but I climbed it, did you? So boo-boo. But yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm still in El Paso for a couple more days. So y'all have a great night. Bye, y'all.